All right, welcome to another episode of The Lawn Dude Abides. Today we are doing our pre-emergent crabgrass control, first round of weed control, also a fertilizer treatment. We are using the Dimension product. We are using the Escalade weed control. The Dimension is the pre-emergent crabgrass control. The Escalade is the weed control, like I just said, and the Ultra N is the fertilizer. All right, let's get to it. Sorry, in the boulevard here, it looks like they've done some kind of work with the straw. We do have the pre-emergent crabgrass control today, so we are going to skip spraying that area, and just in case there's new seed, which is more than likely what the straw represents, is new seed. So by law, as a lawn care company, you have to plant that seed. We like to put it right by the driveway. It's usually the main entry point into the lawn. All right, let's get started. Notice how I am moving my hand back and forth real fast to create as many droplets as possible. Definitely spraying that sidewalk in the street, making sure that I am getting good coverage and coverage from edge to edge on this boulevard. And we all know about the boulevard. You know, Green Day, the boulevard of broken dreams. So returning, I'm going to start about 5 feet in off the edge of that sidewalk, knowing that I'm just going to throw right into it, left and right. Walk straight to the truck. Go to that concrete, start before you enter the property, and then just kind of feather in that edge. Don't want to hit any of those plants. Don't want to hit any of that straw. So what I'm doing here is I'm going back to the truck and just grabbing more hose, because her backyard extends back there, and you want to make sure you have enough hose to treat it out. So this right here, I do have enough to spray to that flower bed, but I don't want to do that. I know I'm gonna have to walk out of this backyard at some point anyways, so I'll just treat it on my way back. That way I can feather the edge and get really good treatment and not kill her plants. Because we're in the business of making things grow and not killing things besides what we want to kill, like the weeds. So what I'm doing here is I'm just throwing back to my footprints, making sure I got a good treatment. Want to feather that edge along that rock, then take a few steps, turn and go back up, and do this zigzag method all the way out of the backyard. Now I am getting a little bit into this bed. As long as there isn't any plants to kill, you can spray the mulch. You can spray anything weed wise in the mulch, but just don't spray the plants or else you will kill them. When you're on your own, catch up with the sun when it's sinking. Sun is the same in a relative way, but you're older. All right, So as I said before, you know, you just want to pull enough hose to make sure you can get all that backyard. Now, more than likely, usually I'd like to go up that left edge, but couldn't do it today, just too much landscaping. I had enough hose, but you're gonna run through all that landscaping. You don't want to do that. Could run the landscaping. Then you just want to feather that edge, get everything back to where you were at, and you can see where you left off. To be here when I can. When I come home and tired, it's good to warm my bones beside the fire. All right, so like I said earlier, any of that straw represents a new seed. So we're just going around it. We don't want to kill any of that new growth. But we also want to make sure we're getting all her grass that she had paid for. All right, doing that side to side arm movement. Gonna pick up more hose. That way I can make it up that right edge, or right side of her house. All right, this one's a little tricky. So most plants are pretty hardy. You know, you can run the hose through them and they're not going to ruin anything. Any kind of flowering plants, you don't want to drag the hose through. Grasses like that though, they're hardy, they can handle the hose. And I made it. You just want to avoid hitting things like that crystal ball there. You knock that over and she's not going to be very happy. All right. And did I get this? No, I did not. All right, not too bad for an old lawn, dude. All right, with the hose reel. I don't like this one, but it's just like every other one. You just let the hose do what it does and you just guide it along. You know, those little gaps, if it's a gap at the bottom of the hose, I definitely fix it, but I just know I'm going to drag this thing out again on the next lawn, and that's not going to mess too much stuff up. If you do have a bunch of gaps between your hose, it is going to make your thing go haywire, and it's not going to follow a good pattern for reeling in. See how it kind of messed up and got wonky there? That's because I had a gap. All right, So the point of the crabgrass control is that crabgrass germinates every year, and when it does in early August, late July, it grows and it dies off in after the first frost, maybe the second hard frost. That's what will kill off the crabgrass. And you know, when that happens, it does leave behind a lot of seeds. That's why we do the pre-emergent crabgrass control, is so we can kill off those seeds and prevent it from growing again the next year. All right, guys, well, that concludes this episode of the Lawn Dude Abides.